What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be explaining how we made over $500,000 combined in 2022 without building a business, all while working completely remote. And so these are some of our real commission checks from our time working and selling for different coaches and influencers. This is all pure profit. There's no fixed expenses inside of this. There's no, we have to pay 50, 75% of this for product inventory, anything like that. It's all pure profit outside of course, taxes. And so here's a $26,000 a month, $87,000 a month, $29,000 a month, $27,000 a month. And if you keep reading, we're going to show you exactly how you can replicate success in the remote closing industry. And you're probably wondering how this whole remote closing, high ticket sales thing works. I'm going to break that down for you right now. So essentially, like I said, high ticket sales / remote closing is an interchangeable term, means the same thing. Essentially, you're just salespeople for online companies that are selling expensive and useful digital products and services. Now, so these companies have customers interested in those products. And essentially what you're going to do as a salesperson is you're going to set up a phone or Zoom call to qualify those customers to see if it's going to be a good fit. If it is, and they buy, you make a commission per sale. That commission is generally between 10 to 15%. And the products we sell are typically priced between 3 to 10K, which means you're roughly making $300 to $1,500 per sale. And because this is all from your phone or laptop, it does give you the ability to travel and work from anywhere as long as you have access to internet connection. And on top of that, you get to focus on getting good at one of the most important skills in business, which is sales. And you have the potential to make a ton of money. We're going to show you some more commission receipts below. And one of the main benefits as well, being in this industry, is you don't have to handle the fulfillment of the product or service that it is that you're selling. For example, if you have an agency, obviously you have fulfillment of the client who you sold whatever it is that you're selling, right? So the good thing about this is once you close a deal, you're done. You get your commission and you focus on selling as many people as you possibly can. And so it's way simpler, of course, in building a business. And the benefits are you get uncapped monthly earning potential, 100% remote work, the ability to get good at one of the most important skills in business, and you're surrounded by 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs. The amount of massively successful people that Kate and I have became friends with and have in our contacts and that we've gained from being in this industry and being in sales is absolutely insane. So you definitely get to build a lot of cool relationships with a lot of really successful people and learn from them. So before we get too deep into this, let me explain exactly who this is for and who this is not for. This is not for individuals that expect to be order takers, only dealing with prospects and people that are ready to hand over their credit card information, people that are lazy, not willing to work extremely hard, they're not committed to getting better, and they're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. Guys, I can go ahead and tell you, this is the furthest thing for a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a grind. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, you can make a ton of money, but you are going to work your butt off. And so this is for individuals that are in sales, but you're not making 10K a month. And even if you are making 10K a month and you don't get to work from home, this is for you. If you want to make money online without risking thousands of dollars starting a business, one of the things that we see with people trying to get an online business is they're often trying different things that take a substantial amount of money to make money. And so if you're working a job and you want to do something like Amazon, obviously you have to invest a lot of capital into buying inventory and your fingers are crossed hoping that it's going to work out. And especially if you're trying to transition from like a job or maybe you don't have a whole lot of money, I think it's best to learn a skill, especially something like sales, where you can come in, you can make some money, stack cash, and just learn more about business as you go. And you're going to be in a much better position to ultimately start that business later on down the road once you have the experience and the capital that you can actually risk. Like I said, if you want to quit your 9 to 5, have location and financial freedom, this is great for you. But if you want to have the complete control the amount of money that's hitting your bank account every single month. And if you spent lots of money trying other online businesses and ultimately haven't succeeded. Kate and I both, we spent a lot of money trying to do drop shipping. And the issue was not only were we having to learn a lot of skills at one time, but we didn't have a whole lot of capital that we could ultimately expend. And so I burned through pretty much everything that I had trying these different online businesses. And I realized that, hey, I should probably focus on a business or something that doesn't require me to invest money in order to do it. I'm going to be trading more of my time for money, which is what I have much more of at the time, was trading my time for money more so than trying to use my money to make more money because I didn't have a whole lot. So you have a company or an influencer who posts content about a specific product that they sell. People inquire about the product, they want to buy it. Here's the issue, is the products that we're selling are $3,000 plus. Not a lot of people are going to want to buy those products on a random checkout page. They're going to have questions about it. They're going to want to talk to you, see if it's a good fit. And so that's where the issue lies, is that they can't just throw it up on a random product page and send people to it because not a lot of people are going to buy it. And if you get them on the phone, your chance of closing the deal is going to be much, much higher. And so you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? Why don't the business owner just like take the phone calls and close the deals himself instead of having to pay $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month like you've seen on some of our commission screenshots to somebody like us? And the issue lies in the fact that they don't have time. If their calendar is flooded with 4 to 8 60-minute calls, could be more, a day, that leaves hardly any time to focus on any other aspects of the business. And so their bandwidth is extremely limited. And on top of that, the fulfillment of their product is just simply not going to be as good as the competitors, because they don't have time to make sure that customers are actually getting results and they're satisfied for what they paid for. But if they give up 10% of their business, 10% is roughly the average commission, and they're able to put that time that they've now got back into running and scale the business, it's a win-win. The business owner gets their time back that they were putting into taking sales calls originally, and they can focus on continuing to market the product to get more people interested, and they can make sure that they have happy customers so they get the benefit of word of mouth and really good result. So in order for them to scale their business, hiring sales reps is just an absolute necessity. So let's paint a picture of what this wouldn't look like if the business owner was trying to do this all themselves. Or what if the business owner was trying to do this all themselves. So business number one has no sales reps. They're taking 5 to 8 calls a day. They have 1 to 2 hours max they can put towards customer results, 1 to 2 hours for marketing. And at this point, the business owner is working 9 hours plus a day, and they have their hand in every single aspect of the business. The sustainability of this is probably very low because they're doing so much. They're wearing every single hat of the business, and the results definitely just aren't going to be as top tier as some of their competitors who have a lot more time to put into fulfillment. And they're most likely going to run into burnout because they're probably going to be extremely stressed out. And so business number two has a sales rep. They gave up 10% of their business to get 60 to 80% of their time back to focus on other important parts of the business, and has a third of the business almost completely outsourced without having to be in the trenches themselves. So let's say business number one is operating about 100% margins, which is not possible. And business number two is operating at 90% margins because the sales rep is going to take 10%. So he gave up 10% of his business to take more sales calls than he was before, and has someone solely dedicated to generating revenue for the business, and has way more time to dedicate to his customer results, and he's getting even better results by doing so. Who do you think is going to sell higher? Someone who gives up a small piece of the pie to grow the pie as a whole, or someone who's going to maximize the margins of their business? They'd rather make $50,000 a month at 100% margin than $100,000 a month at a 90% margin, simply because they're only worried about the margin of their business and maximizing that instead of focusing on efficiency and what they can do better if they were to get all that time back. They could use that time that they get back to focus on marketing, generating more people in, and making sure the customers are actually satisfied with their product, which in turn is going to lead to a lot more business. So obviously business number one, and we make that reality. Right? And so now that you understand the necessity for remote closers in this industry, let's talk about the success that both me and my business partner, Caden, have achieved over the last couple of years doing this exact same thing. So you can understand the true income potential for yourself here. Caden has been doing this for about 4 years. He's been consistently making between 10 to 26K a month over the last several years. And here's several $10,000 commission checks from each year dating back to 2020, showing you how sustainable this is. He's been doing this every month since he was 18 years old. There's a $16,000 paycheck, $12,000 paycheck, and then here's a $50,000 paycheck, showing you how high you can ultimately go. And here's another one, 56, whenever you get good. And so now that we have that out of the way, here's the truth. You can get into high ticket sales and land a position with 6 to 15K a month, earning potential in under 24 weeks. Now, most people aren't able to get there, and here's a few reasons. One, they aren't able to put themselves in a position to work in a well-established company and maximize the money that they're able to make. The good news is you can accomplish this in a few different ways. You can build a powerful network, either your own or get access to someone else's network. For example, myself and Caden, we have access to a large network of business owners that are always looking for sales reps and appointment setters. So whenever they reach out to us, individuals that are taught by us have direct access to all of them. So even though they don't directly know the business owner, they know us, who knows the business owner. And so an alternative to having access to a network is just becoming an absolute savage at cold outreach, learning where to find the best opportunities and how to separate yourself from the competition of other people trying to do this as well. And two, they get into remote closing because they heard about it from a guru online and the expectations weren't properly set. You've probably seen so many people talking about make money by sending messages on your phone, take phone calls on the beach. All that stuff is just extremely unrealistic, and it sets a wrong expectation because it gives people the idea that they're going to be able to not work hard. And just taking sales calls on the beach is basically painting a picture that you can be lazy on the beach doing nothing and still make a lot of money, which is just not the case. So there are tons of people online who haven't actually done remote closing, remote sales, high ticket sales, whatever you want to call it. And they're trying to sell you a course and tell you can make 10K a month by only working 2 to 4 hours a day. They set very poor expectations. And once they realize that this takes 5 to 8 hours a day to make 10 to 20K a month, they give up because they quit, because that's ultimately not what they were told. The expectations were completely wrong. And too many people without actual skin in the game are selling a dream that's not true. You can actually achieve life-changing income in this field, but it will require work and it will not be done overnight. And we absolutely have had people come in and hit 10K a month their first 1 to 2 months. And I had my first 10K a month in 4 months, and I hit my first 50K month in 11 months. I'm not going to sit here and act like every single person is going to do that as well. Now, of course, over time, you absolutely can do that, but it's not going to happen overnight. And the final reason is most people just don't have the right resources to win in this field. They listen to the wrong people that have barely made any money in the space to begin with, and it leads to them getting bad results. And with that being said, Katie and I built this document to show you exactly how you can overcome these problems and put yourself in a position to where you can actually make 7 to 15K a month in 24 weeks or less. And in case you didn't know us, I'll go ahead and give a quick background on us so you understand our backstory and where we're coming from. So my name is Trey Childress. My business partner's name is Caden Jaramillo. Caden is one of the pioneers of the high ticket sales space. He discovered this back in 2019 as he was scrambling for a way he could make money online. He was in high school. He wanted to avoid college at all costs. He was trying every side hustle that he possibly could in order to make something work. The only issue was the fact that he didn't have startup capital. He'd exhausted all the money that he had trying to make other business models work and is ultimately left with nothing. He was reaching out to business owners, pitching pretty much any service that he could, and eventually came across someone who decided to let him take sales calls for his business. 4 years later, Caden generated $4.5 million plus in revenue and has made over $500,000 in commissions. And his top month was $26,000, and he maintained 10, 26K for 4 years. And I got into remote closing through Caden, actually going into the senior year of college. I was a finance major in college, and I really didn't want to get a job whenever I graduated. And so I landed a position within 3 weeks that would allow me to hit my first 10 to 20K a month while finishing the last year of my finance degree. And I really wanted to put myself in a position to be able to continue pursue closing after I graduated. So my goal was I want to be able to set myself up so I don't have to go and get a job whenever I graduate college. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And at this time, I was literally working 7 days a week, probably taking 10 to 11 sales calls a day. And 1.5 years in, $400,000 in commission later, Katie and I joined forces to help beginners get into the remote closing space the right way so you guys can actually have success with this. And ultimately, of course, we're now business partners, and we wanted to put this guy together to show you exactly how to do this. And in the following steps, I'm going to break down the exact process A to Z of what we did to accomplish these results and how you can land a position with 6 to 15K a month on track earning potential in 24 weeks. So in case you guys were sleeping, you completely missed the first half of the document, I'm going to give you a brief overview here of how this works. Remote closing is not just any other sales job. You do sell really cool and helpful digital products for industry experts and that help people, and you can make a lot of money doing it. We are huge believers in this industry because earning potential is absolutely insane. Hence the $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a month that I had in 2022. And you're selling products that actually solve real problems and have a real impact on other people. One of the coolest things is selling a product and helping someone make a decision that you knew would be better for their life and getting a text message from them telling you how what you sold them helped change their life, make more money, turn their relationships around, whatever. It's one of the coolest feelings. And as Alex Hormozi says, it doesn't matter how hard that you row, but what boat that you're in. And basically what that means is it doesn't matter how hard you work. It matters what vehicle that you're working in. So you can be like the best pen salesman in the world, but the amount of money you're going to make is probably going to be pretty minuscule. Or you could be someone selling a $50,000 package for a massive influencer with a ton of results. You're probably going to have a much easier time closing deals, and you're probably going to make a lot more money. Obviously, you can make a lot of money in the door-to-door industry. That is an exception of other sectors of sales that you can make a lot of money in. Of course, tech, you can do really well in tech as well. But in my opinion, I think this industry is only going to continue to explode. And if you get in now and you get some experience, I think the future is going to be really awesome. Here's a couple reasons as to why remote sales, remote closing is the best vehicle to be in. Obviously, the earning potential we've already talked about, which is insane. Location freedom, you get to be able to work from wherever you want, and you can still travel. Like I said, taking calls on the beach probably isn't realistic, but you still can travel and be able to make money. Katie and I do travel a lot. Basically, what we'll do is we'll work our butts off for the first 6, 7, 8 hours of the day. Then we have the rest of the evening to go shopping, go eat, and do whatever. So you can still travel, but you're not going to be just kicked back in a beach chair on the ocean taking sales calls. And obviously, you do get the chance to make a lot of money, but the relationships that you can develop in this game are just absolutely unmatched. You're working closely with 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs, and just the ability to connect with them, learn from them, see how the businesses operate is absolutely invaluable. And so in order to find success in this industry, you'll need a few things: solid company, tested sales process. Obviously, you'll need leads, and of course, the ability to sell. So now that you understand how this whole thing works, we're going to show you exactly how we made over $500,000 last year. So the 3 key steps: search and land. Of course, this is going to be finding a sales position. You have to put yourself in a really good position in order to make money. So you ultimately have to land a sales position. Now, the difference between this industry and other industries is that you don't find sales opportunities in high-ticket space on Indeed or Glassdoor, because the issue lies in the fact that these business owners want people who already understand the sales process for the high-ticket industry, and the ramp up here is going to be a lot longer if they take someone from those industries and try and train them here, rather than someone who already understands like how the sales process works and the industry as a whole. And so there's a couple different ways: influencers, high sales reps, recruiters, DMs, networks. Basically people, recruiters are basically people that find sales reps for them, they place them into their business. DMs, people cold outreaching them on Instagram. And then network, you're reaching out to friends who need sales, or reaching out to friends, reaching out to sales reps, seeing if they know other people, obviously like just word of mouth sort of thing. And Katie and I have landed sales positions through all these channels, so I speak with certainty and understanding how the exact hiring process works. And you might be confused on what actually it is that you're going to be selling, or what services you actually should focus on selling. So coaching programs, basically just people that put together coaching offers. This could be for anything. This could be for real estate coaching, fitness coaching. This could be really anything, right? Someone's selling just niche knowledge on a certain topic, and they have a program to help other people do what it is they're trying to show them how to do or get better at something. Agency services, example, lead generation services. So let's say that you could be selling like lead generation for real estate agents. So someone who's going to generate leads, going to generate buyers and people that are interested in selling their home for your real estate agents. Of course, you guys obviously know what courses are, and masterminds, just big events where people host speakers, and it's like they'll sometimes host them in like big arenas, and they'll have a lot of speakers come in, and obviously they have to try, and a lot of people will try and use like the same model to sell masterminds as they do for coaching programs and agency services. So that's something else. It's not as common, but definitely still out there. Platforms that we use, basically Instagram and Facebook are the 2 main ones. There of course are other ways, but these are the 2 main ones that we like to focus on. Facebook, in my opinion, is not as good. Basically, you're having the more like volume approach rather than quality approach. Basically, what you're going to be doing is looking for high ticket sales groups on Facebook, joining them, and then just going through. And basically what people will do is they'll post job opportunities in these high ticket sales Facebook groups. And there's a lot of them. There's a ton. But the issue lies in the fact that there could be some scammers. There could be opportunities that aren't legit. Really, the only way, in my opinion, that you can really take advantage of Facebook groups is by connecting with recruiters. And the way you're going to be able to do this is look for one person, one familiar face, profile picture, name that's posting a lot of opportunities, and they're all in different fields. That means they're working for different companies and they're placing sales reps into their business. So that is one way that you can land great opportunities through Facebook. But as far as just applying for specific sales positions through Facebook, I don't think it's as good as Instagram. Now, Instagram, basically, you're just going to be searching for specific industries here in the search bar and reaching out to coaches in that industry. Here's a list of different type of industries to give you guys some examples of what you can ultimately search up. So figure out, first step, what do you want to sell? And then step 2, you're actually going to be looking for influencers selling what it is that you want to sell. So step 2 is going to be start your search. And basically here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be typing in the list of what we covered here. So you're going to type in like mindset coaching in the Instagram search bar, and you're going to be looking for mindset coaches on Instagram. And you might be wondering, like, how do I know if these people are actually going to be selling a product or a service? A lot of times they'll have some sort of call to action in their bio, basically saying, DM me mindset if you want to turn your mindset around, or DM me savings if you want to focus on budgeting every month. Or that's just a random example, right? But you're going to be looking for specific call to actions, story highlights that have testimonials, just people leaving reviews of their product. That's obvious. Lead magnet, they're giving away some sort of product that's going to be able to help people for free, obviously in exchange for their email or phone number, so that they can potentially reach out to those people and upsell them into their program. And of course, the eye. You're just going to learn how to naturally analyze profiles whenever you come across them as you've been in the game long enough. And by looking at their content, their stories, maybe even ads that you're getting, and story highlights, you'll know if they're selling a product or not. You could typically tell in 10 seconds. So once you find an influencer, it's time to ultimately send them a message. It doesn't need to be something long. Oftentimes these influencers are extremely busy, so something short, sweet, to the point is going to work best. Hey Nat, hey Name, are you hiring for any commission-only sales rep? any commission only sales reps right now, something short, sweet like that will work really great. And obviously if they don't respond, you want to continue to follow up with them until they do. And you're just going to rinse and repeat. Maybe you expand into different niches that you want to look into, but mainly you just want to focus on here getting as many messages out as you possibly can. Now, the outreach strategy above is 100% a solid way to land a position, but it's not going to be the fastest or the easiest. Like I said, Kate and I both have landed hiring positions through cold outreach many times over. And not even just us. We've helped a lot of people land positions through outreach, but ultimately it's just not the most effective way to do it. And so I'm sure at some point in your life, you've probably heard this quote, and it might be a little bit cringe, but your network is your net worth. And like me, if you're like me, you never took the time to fully let that sink in and think about it. I always just thought it was cringe, but I'm here to tell you that is literally like one of the most true things ever. But your life is going to be so much harder than you need it to be without a network. And I know a question you're probably going to already ask is like, how do I network with people when I'm just starting out? If I'm just coming into the game and I don't have a lot of experience, how are you going to provide value if you don't have any value to provide? And so it's simple. You do it with money. So if you're trying to network with other people that are way ahead of you, there's not really anything you're going to be able to provide. It won't work because you don't have any value to offer. Unless, for example, let's say that you're someone who really has your fitness dialed in and you're working with someone who like is 60 years old and they're really out of shape, they want to get in shape. Like that's a way that you could provide value to someone in other areas in terms of money, right? But for the most part, most of the time, if someone's way ahead of you, the only value you're going to be able to provide them is. So I'll break that down for you and how you can go about doing that. So you pay to join sales groups like ours. This is obviously, you're going to get access to opportunities. You're going to get access to us, our network, by doing so. And also you're going to have people that are on the same mission as you. It's going to hold you accountable, and it's going to make sure that it's going to continue to motivate you, but it's also going to continue to break down like limiting beliefs in your mind. This is something I didn't list here, but it's so extremely important. As a beginner, if you're looking to get into the online space, sales, whatever you want to do, being around people that are on the same mission as you and that are having success is so important to your success. What that's going to do is that's going to break down your limiting beliefs. And instead of you thinking, hey, is this actually something I can have success with? Is this something that's actually real? People winning on a daily basis, and slowly those limiting beliefs just begin to get chipped away and away until your focus is, okay, how do I get like these people? Instead of worrying about, is this real? Am I wasting my time? I can actually do this. You see so many people doing it and you're like, okay, like I just need to learn from them and figure out what they're doing so I can replicate the same success. And so one really cool thing that we've seen, even in our community, is people that will join and people that are already in sales positions, they'll post their company's job opportunities in there for other people in the group to get. So for example here, Mila, he closed a $5,000 deal resulting in $500. And Dylan, he set that deal and he got $250 for it. So usually closers get 10, setters get 5. It's the cool part about this is Dylan actually landed this offer through Mila. So Mila posted this job opportunity in our Discord community, and Dylan was able to take advantage of that. He ultimately got hired. And because he was in the group, because he was around other people in sales, and because he saw that Mila posted his offer, he was able to apply and get hired. Obviously, if he wasn't in there, he wouldn't have got that opportunity. This is just one instance showing you how important it is in order to focus on getting around people that are successful in doing what you want to do. And number 2, you want to befriend people that are in your space. And this one can be tough, especially like I said, as a beginner with nothing to offer. And I already talked about this earlier, providing value in another way in their life, a way that you can befriend people that are more successful than you. And 2, the only problem that you might run into in ever trying to provide value is that if you don't get praise for what you're doing, a lot of people can give up. So let's use that example earlier. Say you're someone who's super young and fit and you're trying to network with someone who's 60 years old. They might be out of shape, but they're really successful. If they don't immediately acknowledge that and praise you and thank you, so many people just get discouraged. Oh, this doesn't work. And they just stop. When in reality, you shouldn't look at it as a transactional. You shouldn't look at that interaction as transactional. You should be focused on giving as much of the value that you have to provide without expecting anything in return. And eventually, if you continue to do that, you will reap the rewards from it. But it does, you probably are going to run into scenarios where you provide value and ultimately someone just says, okay, thank you, and they move on with their day. You just have to understand that it's a numbers game. And if you continue to focus on giving everything that you do know, eventually that will come full circle for you. And so one thing that I love to do is I love to pay people for consultation calls. And so if we're talking about befriending people in your network and getting around really successful people, one of the best ways you can ultimately do that is pay people for consulting calls. And you have to be a likable person. You don't want to be someone who goes on there and just absolutely milks them and just comes across as super entitled. One advantage to being young, if you are young, if you're watching this, is that if you're really hungry and you can show that you've been trying and working your butt off and you're not successful, if you pay someone who's more successful than you and they see that, a lot of times like those people are going to befriend you and take you under their wing. That's happened for me. I've built a lot of great relationships in this industry and just in life in general by paying people for their time, offering to pay them for their time. Obviously that shows that you respect their time. You don't expect anything out of them. And ultimately, if you guys have a great conversation, like a lot of times you'll have that relationship moving forward and that connection, which I've done probably 6-7 times at this point, and it's worked out every single time. I don't expect anything from it. I just go on there, focus on asking some questions and getting, of course, ultimately what I paid for. And a lot of the times that does result into a pretty cool relationship. So once you get in an offer, the next step is going to be analyzing, adjusting. Basically here, this is just analyzing where you lack on the sales side of it and then adjusting and getting better at sales. And so a good way that you're going to be able to do that is, let's see, where are we at? Okay. A good way you're going to be able to analyze your performance and figure out like where you need to improve on is by recording your sales calls, listen to other people's sales calls that are good, do call reviews. Obviously, you need to make sure the person that's reviewing your call is actually good and has proven results so they don't give you bad advice. And one thing to note as well is whenever you're starting out, every area is going to need improvement. Don't get discouraged. Just try and focus on one or two things at a time so you don't get overwhelmed, or else you're not really going to make a whole lot of progress. And these are the exact things you need to focus on getting good in order to close deals. So you want to discover a potential customer's goals, problems, and urgency to change their situation. Pitch, you want to be able to customize that pitch based on what it was that they told you earlier. So you're going to be explaining away their concerns here and explaining why things that they've tried or why certain things in the past didn't work out and why your solution is ultimately going to be different. And then of course, objection handling. And so the biggest jump in close rate is hands down, it's going to be from learning how to basically prevent objections. So instead of going straight into sales and trying to learn how to objection handle, your focus should be learning how to prevent objections. The way you're going to be able to do that is by dialing in the front half of your call, the discovery phase, and a really good pitch. And then once you have that dialed in, you can focus on objection handling. Once you get good at sales, obviously the next step is going to be focused on leveraging and pivoting. So basically here, you're just going to be getting the experience that you've gained and positioning yourself in a really good and a better offer to make more money, if you will. And one thing I do want to go back and mention here really quickly is the importance of implementation. So as a beginner, if you're trying to learn sales, or even if you're not a beginner and you have a little bit of experience, one of the biggest things that I struggle with at least is like if you buy a course, just a course alone, a lot of times can be very difficult because it might be unclear in when to implement certain objection handling techniques or how to go about writing a pitch for your specific offer or the questions that you need to ask for your specific offer. And a lot of times it can be difficult as a beginner if you just have a course. I think one thing that really helped me get at sales was like live implementation, raw feedback, like call reviews and practicing things that was pointed out by someone, Caden, in this example, who was way better than me. When I was starting out, he would give me things that I would need to work on, focus on, areas I need to improve on so I could focus on those and get better at them because he told me what I needed to work on. Because he'd taken a ton of sales calls. He saw why I wasn't closing deals at the level he knew I could be. And ultimately, by getting that feedback, I was able to adjust and close a lot more deals way faster than me just trying to figure everything out on my own. And ultimately, you don't know what you don't know. And so I didn't know what parts of the sales calls I was struggling with the most. And he could go in, analyze that, pinpoint it directly, and tell me what I need to focus on and what I could have done better in that certain scenario. And so going back to step 3 here, basically just like I said, leveraging and pivoting. This is just leveraging the experience that you had and getting into a better sales role or doubling down with the current company you have and maybe trying to be a sales manager or something like that. So if you hit a ceiling, you're not able to earn more income with the sales position that you're in, you can pivot to another offer using your new experience. And so basically what I did was I went from making about 10 to 20 grand a month when I was in college and ultimately reposition myself into a better offer where, as you guys saw those commission checks earlier, I hit 50, 60K months. And so my sales ability didn't get 2, 3, 4 times. I just learned how to position myself better. And by being in a better position to make money, I was able to make a lot more of it. And so if you want to do that, we recommend you to do what's called the bridge. This is just a low risk way of transitioning out of your offer. Essentially, you're just going to start outreach while you're on the offer that you're on now. And once you do find an offer, gradually start taking sales calls as long as there's no legal conflict or conflict within your offers. Start taking sales calls while you're on the other offer. Typically, they'll have a ramp up period anyway, meaning like you're going to start with very low volume. So that'll allow you to get a feel for the people that are coming in and the opportunity with the new offer that you're on without just up and quitting the other one. So basically you're just getting another offer, starting it without quitting your other one. And once you see proof of concept, then at that point you can transition out. So to summarize, you want to focus on landing a position, getting good at sales, and then maximizing your earning potential, whether that's moving to a sales manager role, using your sales ability to build a software, which is obviously one thing that we're doing as well, or going to a different offer with more earning potential. And so what now? Right? You have a couple options. Option number 1 is you can stay on the same path you've been on which if you made it this far, it probably isn't working quite at the level you want it to be. Option number 2, you can follow the exact process we laid out for you here. And if you follow it to a T, you probably will inevitably see success, but it's probably going to take a few months or more. And so there's definitely a few variables I couldn't cover here, and definitely a few things that you'll have to navigate and try and figure out yourself. Option 3 is you can come and work directly with us. Follow a step-by-step game plan that we give you to a T, land a remote sales position with 6 to 15K a month earning potential in the next 24 weeks. And so here's exactly what's going to happen if you want to do that. Number 1, closing and appointment setting mastery. We're going to directly help you learn how to sell high-ticket products to produce people on the phone, or high-ticket products to people on the phone. And this is going to include our exact sales call framework and helping you get good very quickly by, we talked about earlier, live feedback, call review. So we're going to basically be helping you and giving you that feedback to help you get as good as fast as possible, and then placing you into a company with 6 to 15K a month on track earning potential. And also we're going to show you how to build connections with 7 to 8 figure entrepreneurs and business owners that are looking for sales reps. Show you exactly how we've done that as well. Becoming a sales assassin, like I said, we're going to basically coach you, give you raw feedback on becoming as good as you possibly can. You're going to get access to sales call recordings, support, one-on-one support. One thing that's really important with what we do is one-on-one support. It's not just a course, it's not just a coaching program with live calls. You have the ability to book one-on-one calls with us, so you can ask questions. We can review your calls one-on-one and all that sort of thing. So just having that very hands-on support, we found to be extremely important, especially in something like sales. And so ultimately on the inside, you're going to get one-on-one calls with us. You're going to have access to our training material for lifetime, access to our Discord community. You're going to get very in-depth 5 live calls per week. That's not counting the one-on-one calls. We do 5 live calls a week. And you can message us personally with any questions that you have. We're going to be working together for 24 weeks. Like I said, you're going to have direct access to us. We guarantee that if you're not in a position with 6 to 15K a month, we'll give you your money back by the end. And the program was only launched 5 months ago. We have dozens of people making 10 to 25K a month. And so if you're tired of not making the money that you want to make, working a career that's not fulfilling to you, and spinning your wheels, trying to remote closing, and it hasn't worked, and you want to learn from people that have been massively successful in this industry and have the best student results in the game with, to be honest, a lot less people than a lot of other people in the industry, and practice what we preach for over 6.5 years combined, you can book a call with us here. And if you're still unsure, check out some of the interview testimonials here. How Noah made 16K in a month. How Dylan went from 0 to 10K a month in 90 days. How Jack went from 0 to 13K a month in 120 days. How Alec went from 0 to 20K, pacing 20K a month. How Chris went from 2K a month at his job to making over $6,000 a month for remote sales. Now he's on pace to clear 10K. And how Julian is making 10K plus a month part-time while going to college at a top 20 business school in the US. And so if you want to book a call with us, like I said, that link is here. You can click here, you can go book a call with us. And if you're still unsure, you can check out some of these non-solicited shout outs from some of the students inside. Like I said, we did not ask these people to tweet that. That was all just people wanted to share their experience with us so far. And so if that got you over the line, if you feel more confident about working with us now, you can book a call with us here. We'll see you on the other side. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys, and we'll see you soon.